and helping them on to a win today. Both teams in pursuit of a top 8 finish in the Champions League league table as it stands right now. Mario Melchiot here to talk more about what we've just seen. We're going to get to Chelsea. We're going to get to Chelsea's win. We must get to Barcelona, though, and the red card for Araujo, because people will bring that up and say, yes, they were down to 10 men, but were they really even that competitive before it, Barca?
No, that was the one chance we saw Ferran Torres, that he kind of rushed it a little bit. But no, if you've watched Spanish football, as we do on a weekly basis, you'll know that this Barcelona side have got a good result at the weekend. The game you were doing, the Athletic Club. Athletic Club were terrible. But Barca did a job, but they've been severely unconvincing defensively. And what we saw with 11 men was Chelsea able to dominate them before Araujo gets sent off for two stupid decisions. But that's who Barcelona are. And you guys were in Madrid. You were in Spain to watch Real Madrid at the weekend get a lucky draw against Elche. When you look at how they're playing and how this Barcelona team are playing, if one of these two wins the league, and that's the likely scenario, one of the worst champions in recent history, because they're both terrible. Yeah, Barca can be more exciting going forward. But defensively, again, and we've said it time and time again, they had great success last year domestically, taking all these chances, but they're taking more chances this year defensively. They're squeezing the line in a very poor manner. They're squeezing at the wrong time, and almost every team they play, apart from Athletic Club at the weekend, are causing them problems. So this is who Barca are with 11 men. Don't kid yourself. This game was not about the red card. This was about Chelsea being the better side, and all the problems that Barca have had this season, defensively in particular, coming home to roost.
And then not adjusting after you do go a man down.
They didn't adjust, but Craig's absolutely right. We've talked about their defensive, how poor they are defensively, and so nothing surprises you what we saw tonight. What did surprise me, when they were 11 versus 11, they didn't really create anything. They didn't dominate the game. The midfield players, Frankie de Jong usually controls the pace of the game. He couldn't do that. Of course, there's no Pedri in the side. But even the front, Lewandowski was hardly involved. Ferran Torres was taken off at half-time, maybe because they were down to 10 men, but he didn't make enough runs. And Lamine Yamal was almost non-existent. You know, that's the worst I've seen him play since he's almost had a Barcelona shirt on. Cucurella did a great job against him.
I mean, if they lose their impetus going forward, if they lose that ability to be as dynamic as they were last year, and I know Rafinha's been out, and I know he came back, got some game time, I know he's been a big miss. And Pedri, as Robbo mentioned, obviously Pedri and de Jong have been at a great axis in there, controlling games. But if they lose that ability as one of the most exciting, decisive opponents going forward with all the goal threat, if they somehow even lose 20 or 30% of that, they're not going to succeed, because that's what's been holding them up. That's the ballast that they've had for some of the poor defending, was the fact that they've been able to just go and outscore teams. But if they lose that, allied to the problems they've got elsewhere, then they've got problems. Now, they're going to get out of this 36-team group thing. They're going to get out of that. Shouldn't be an issue for them. But what could be an issue, and they're not the only ones, because Real Madrid are very much in this pot going forward if we're looking at La Liga. The issue for them is, where can they put a consistent run of results together like they were able to do last year? Not on what we've seen this season. I think it's very... And Hansi Flick, after the international break, said, don't worry, everybody. If we play like how we played against Celta de Vigo in Vigo, we'll be okay. Is he bonkers? Because I watched that game, and he did that game, and they were terrible for 45 minutes. I mean, it was embarrassing. So, they can paper over it all they want. There are some major issues, and we all know where they are in this Barca team.
And what worried me today about Barcelona's performance, the game was played maybe another 15% in terms of intensity, the pace of the game, to what they're used to sometimes playing in La Liga. So the likes of Frankie de Jong, the likes of Fermin Lopez, who have been absolutely magnificent in recent weeks going forward, had no impact on the game whatsoever, because the game was being played at too quick a pace for them, and they didn't like it at all.
Did you expect more from Barcelona tonight, Mario?
Yeah, no, just what Robbo said. I think Chelsea surprised them. Why? Because the way they set it up, you understand? As soon as the game kicked off, you saw it from the first minute, regardless if they had the opportunity to score Barcelona, you could see that the energy and the way they were going after. They stacked the midfield, you understand? Because with James and Casero, they were working really hard. And they used the pace up front. They didn't even start with a normal striker, because Neto was the attacking player for them in the middle. or even coming on the side sometimes. But it was just good to see. I think it was a team that normally is very comfortable and keeping the ball against a team that put a lot of energy and didn't give him a lot of time on the ball. And what you just highlighted, you know, everybody's eye was going to be on Yamal and, you know, Cucurella. And Cucurella is one of those players, you'd rather have him in your team because you don't want to play against him because he can annoy you. But he had a great game against Yamal, I say.
I mean, they surprised me because, as Robbo said, they were a little blunt going forward. It didn't surprise me Chelsea scored 3.
Oh, no, not at all.
Not at all. And I'm not taking anything away from Chelsea whatsoever because they ground out a result at Burnley at the weekend. They're playing Arsenal on Sunday. It's a big win for them. But let's be honest about it, right? At this moment in time, Real Madrid and Barcelona are not big scalps. They're not. Not playing well enough to be big scalps. I mean, you saw that you were at the Elche game. Elche should have won at the weekend. We've seen countless Barcelona games this year with teams rooted at the bottom of La Liga, giving them multiple problems. I mean, Sevilla smashed them. Celta Vigo should have taken 3 or 4 off them. You know, the Alaveses, all these teams. So they're a big scalp in terms of the fact that, yeah, well, they're La Liga champions and they're Barcelona and they've got Lamine Yamal, but they're not a difficult team
And we say
to play against.
We say every week, yeah, they're getting away with this against this sort of side. When they come up against the very best teams in Europe, and Chelsea at the moment are a very good team, their defensive strategy is going to be called out. I mean, even when they're down to 10 and the third goal, the 2 players on the right-hand side, Eric Garcia was playing at right back and the centre-half, Koundé was playing at centre-half, they just allow the space for the ball to be played in between. There's no recovery runs whatsoever, and Fernandes makes the run, the timing of the pass is good. It's too easy. You cannot defend like that. To be a top-class side, you have to defend well as going forward.
So why the drop-off? We just saw the figures there. Why the drop-off from last season?
I think teams weren't used to it. So teams didn't plan so much for it, you know, and which they should have done after about 3 weeks. We could say, look at the high line that Barcelona are playing. But teams kept on getting caught offside and ran too early. Now teams are looking at it and coaches are looking at it and saying, this is easy to break down. We only have to play first-time balls in behind them. Front players, don't make your run until the ball's played. We can hit switches of play and get on the big diagonal. And they're not doing it as well. So I think their philosophy is totally wrong, and teams are finding ways to go past it so easily.
Barcelona fans they just hate it when we don't kiss the backside, don't they? But there's no reason to.
I think even some Barcelona fans are annoyed at their own team right now, though, with what they're seeing.
Well, they should be annoyed at their manager. I mean, he doesn't have to completely change his philosophy, but he has to get the balance correct. And why are you fiving? He's your captain as well, I think, Arojo. Why are you fiving him when he's coming off after making 2 stupid decisions like that? I mean, he's right on the back of the referee for his first booking. He's got his nose in the back of the referee's head. The referee turns round, he's there. You can't encroach like that. And then once you've done that, you know, it's just a stupid challenge. So Hansi Flick's going to have to figure it out. The fact that he might get away with it is because others at the top end in the Liga may also fall off. You know, Real Madrid, Villarreal are going well up to now. Atletico Madrid, could you trust them? I'm not sure you can. So for that reason, both of those of the big 2 might be okay. But for no other reason than that, I think particularly in the Champions League, this has got no longevity for Barcelona. It just can't. You may get away with it in Spain against the bottom half, which they have done. But as this tournament evolves and the teams become more elite and better quality, you're just not going to get away with that.
All right, let's talk more about the winning team then, if we can, Mario. What did you like about Chelsea tonight?
I like the fact that just how they responded to every, you know, like even tackles and the way, like when they kicked off the game. In the beginning, you understand, keeping the ball in the team at the back. I was a little bit waiting because I was a little bit worried because in the beginning it didn't look that comfortable the way they were passing from the back. But then afterwards they started to pick up. And what they really used well, the pace. And then, I mean, Estevao gave us an answer in the sense of what they really wanted to do, because you get on the ball and dribble at them and take them on. Who is at the moment, one of the players that's really in form in doing that is Estevao. He gets at you, dribbles, drops the shoulder, takes people on. And I think that was one of the key things what Chelsea was really good at. Away from that, I think just it worked well. Consistently was really good for them. But like we spoke, right, this game was at the Bridge. It's always good to play at the Bridge when you play the big teams. The hardest thing would be, you understand, if Chelsea would have meet Barcelona at their side, because it's always a different game. But I think the fans around you, they help you a lot, and I think they got motivated in that sense too. And the key thing was, when Araujo got sent off, right, the way the game went, it was almost like we know how his reaction can be. Sometimes he can be really fiery. And when Chelsea goes at you like that, it didn't surprise me that he got pulled over, because he sometimes... He can be really tough. You can be defended. You go like, wow, you need that. But sometimes you can also say like, who's going to cool him down? Because sometimes he can get too heated and then loses his head.
And João Pedro likes to float about and drop a little deeper. And that, as soon as the centre half steps out, that's when you get the deeper runs to coming in. So it's not really about playing a pacey front man against a back four that squeezes, because you're really looking for that front guy to come out with the line and then get your Enzo Fernandez or your wide players making those runs. So whatever way Enzo Maresca went tonight, and you've got to credit him for getting it right, but I think whatever way he went with his front line, I think would have been successful against this Barcelona back four.
Estevo's special, isn't he?
Oh.
He is. He's got everything you want from a wide player. There's a lot of good wide players playing throughout Europe at the moment, and he's one of those players that can go past people down the outside. He showed he's got a right foot as well, because he's a left-footed player when he runs with it. Scores with his right foot. He's got that bit of pace, and he looks an intelligent footballer as well. Quite a lot of players that dribble with the ball, do it at the wrong times, they run into defenders. It looks as though he's got a bit of that intelligence, football intelligence as well. So yeah, good player.
They've signed enough wide players, haven't they?
Yeah,
so
they've got to get it right at some point.
Modric is off and he's got his issues, and Pedro Neto's done a good job for them as a wide player. Gittins has come in. Obviously, they lost Madueke to Arsenal.
Garnacho's the one that I'm still not convinced about.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's hot and cold, isn't he? But this young guy, I think already from a very early stage of him putting on this strip, particularly at Stamford Bridge, you can just tell. Whenever he gets the ball, people are off their seats, aren't they? There's an edge, there's an excitement. And,
even you were off your seat when we were watching.
Well, not quite.
No, all right.
But it's great to see. The difference is, and I always say this, we talked about it a lot with Jeremy Doku at Man City, and we've seen it a little bit at times, is for these wide players, these pacey, tricky wide players, it's really about end product. Because all the fancy stuff it goes unnoticed if there's nothing at the end of it. And what this young man is showing, and it is early, is that he's good enough and he's mature enough that when he gets in those positions, there's generally something tangible at the end of it in the final third, and that's the most important thing.
Mario, what happens if this version of Chelsea show up at the weekend against Arsenal?
Yeah, definitely, because you know what the key thing is, and the guys are sitting there. When you peak one time in one game, because Chelsea clearly had a good game, regardless if you have one man, but then you got to do it again over the weekend. I think that's going to be a tough one. Do I think it's possible? Yeah, they're at home. So, at home they must feel comfortable, but Arsenal at the moment, they are really like, let's see what they do tomorrow. But away from that, I still root for, that Chelsea can grab them. Because they're in that good mood at the moment.
A much better version of Chelsea will need to turn up, believe it or not. Believe it or not, they will have to up their game from what we saw tonight to play at the weekend, because Arsenal, they're a much more... They're not going to be...
They will have to play as energetically as they did today, but they can't make that early mistake, because they could have gone one down today with that first pass and they won it in midfield. Barcelona and Ferran Torres should have scored. If they did that against Arsenal and Arsenal score, then they're up against it. So they've got to make sure in that first 20 minutes they try and dominate Arsenal in terms of their intensity, and I would say get the ball into the front areas that little bit quicker and don't give Arsenal a chance to go and press it.
In some sense, that's the acid test for them at the weekend rather than this. Now, we're saying this is Barcelona, but we've seen enough of them, particularly this year. We just have. We're not picking on them. It's been there every week in, week out to see the poorest teams in the Liga could all have had 2, 3 and 4 against them. Easy. And I'm not even talking half chances. And so this is not a surprise, this win for Chelsea. It's a great win, but it's not a surprise if you watch the Liga on a regular basis. If they were to do that something similar to Arsenal at the weekend, which is a big if, that's a huge statement, because we know at the moment they're clear favourites at the moment to go on and win this Premier League. That would the statement for Chelsea has to be the weekend. Enjoy tonight, great performance, but Arsenal are a different ball game at the weekend. Yeah,
and Barcelona will have to get things back together. Go on, Mario, finishing last point.
I I also think that, like Maresco really prepped really well for this game. And I think he saw the mistakes that he could see where he could really hurt them. When it comes to the one when he plays Arteta, it's going to be, they know each other so well because, look, one time he worked for a Spanish coach that likes to play the way Barcelona wants to play. And now you're facing a team that has the energy that compete with you. So the game against Arsenal, regardless of I still say it, it's going to be a tough one, but being at home, they got to take the advantage because Arsenal is really coming to really play the game with them.
Yes. 10 changes for Pep Guardiola. Haaland coming off the bench wasn't his night either, and it's back-to-back defeats for Manchester City too. Mario Melchior is with us. 10 changes?
It's a lot,
it's a lot, isn't it?
I mean, we were looking at it, they're playing Leeds at home at the weekend. Now, is there such a thing as a given? I mean, I suppose there's not, but it doesn't get much easier than that. So did he have to make all those changes? Probably not. Will he qualify? Yes. But like winning becomes a habit, so does losing becomes very detrimental to your mentality, particularly when you're not keeping clean sheets. They could have lost another 2 or 3 goals at the weekend at Newcastle, but for Donnarumma, who didn't play tonight, but he's been excellent. But even he couldn't keep them in that game at the weekend. And so, if you're looking to put a run of results together, which Man City are, particularly in the Premier League, to try and hunt down Arsenal, you need something that's sort of giving you some continuity and some consistency. And they never got that tonight. That was too many changes and just another poor defeat.
Because what happened, you lose the fear factor. In years gone by, when Man City was 7 points behind Arsenal at this stage, I think in a couple of seasons, you went, oh, Man City are going to win all their games from now to the end of the season, and Arsenal are going to have to do well. And people were frightened of Manchester City. They didn't want to go and play them. It's how can we stop them scoring rather than go and attacking them. Now you can go and attack Man City. There's lots of spaces to play. They've lost that fear factor, which is a big blow for them.
It's interesting, Mario, because Pep Guardiola said after the international break, the season starts now, and it's been back-to-back losses for him.
Yeah, and also the time where we are, right? Because we're now coming towards the end of November, and now December we always talk about that's when leagues get won. December, January, those are the very important and the key things. What Robert said, look, when you come close to the likes like Arsenal, and that's the team in form. Everybody sees that, watch them, it's like that's the one that you want to catch up to. But then you're getting so close and you lose the game, and then you lose this one. Now, this is also momentum, and they're losing the momentum. And if you're hot and cold, it's going to be very difficult. And also, you need more guys that can score goals, because he left Haaland on the bench, brought him on after, and he had 2 opportunities, but I think Flecken had a really good game. The goalkeeper from Leverkusen. But away from that, if they keep going like that, it's going to be very, very tough for them just to make sure that they stay up and can get that race going, what we just talked about.
Who have you got? Go on.
No, I'm just saying, I was thinking back to the weekend. I was just thinking about how Man City cover up their deficiencies. And you could argue the weakest point of their team is the 2 full-backs. Yes, Nico Riley has done well and he's played for England. He's a good young player. But he's not a left-back. Mateus Nunes is not a right-back. So they can get exposed. Newcastle did their homework at the weekend. It was Jacob Murphy and Harvey Barnes. And because, and he's going to have to figure this out, Guardiola, because City played as narrow as they did at Newcastle and as they do, they had Cherky and Phil Foden in behind Erling Haaland. Whenever they coughed the ball up, all Newcastle did was, as soon as they won it, they went wide. And the fullbacks, Lewis Hall and Livramento, in the first 45 minutes, had more touches than anybody else in the field. Why? Because every time they coughed it up in midfield, or Newcastle won it back, they went wide and they had a 2-on-1. So he's going to have to figure out a way to get the balance right in this side. Yeah, it's all very well saying, well, Foden will play and Cherky will play and Haaland will score goals. But when you're not as dominant as you once were and you're losing the ball, teams are going to pinpoint your full-backs in your wide areas. And Newcastle did that brilliantly at the weekend. And that is something that Guardiola is going to have to figure out. Otherwise, that is going to be one of the sides to their 11 and back 4 that is going to be exposed. And as I said, Newcastle did a brilliant job of that at the weekend.
Is the depth of the squad strong enough to balance throughout these competitions that he's in?
He's got a big squad, but is it full of quality? Is it full of proven players that are constantly winning week in, week out? No. When you see some of the players, like Marmoush has come to the club. We saw playing Bundesliga and you thought, what a good signing that is. He's going to do this, he's going to do that. He can play up front, he can play wide. And he has 1 or 2 good games. But because he's not playing consistently, and then when he does have the odd bad game, he gets left out of the team, he's lost his confidence. So a lot of those players that came into the side today won't have been high on confidence. Nathan Ake's a good example, who 2 years ago was one of their better defenders. Now, because he plays irregularly, he can't get his form right, and he's lost his confidence, and he knows the manager doesn't quite fancy him as much as he did before. So that big squad isn't quite as good as it should be.
Well, it's time for the glasses.
Oh dear.
Because you really did ask about Man City squad, right? Right, you really did ask. Nouri they signed, he played. Kushinov they signed, they played. Nico Gonzalez, they paid 60 million, I think. From Reinders, from Milan, Oscar Bob's been... They all played. And you go to the bench, Ruben Dias, Erling Haaland, Ryan Cherky, Jeremy Doku, Bernardo Silva, Josko Gvardiol, Donnarumma, Mateus Nunes, Nico Riley, Phil Foden on the bench. I mean, come on, there is no excuse here for... Man City, this is one of the best squads in European football. Yeah, it might have some balance issues. That's their problem. That is their... If there's balance issues, that is City and Guardiola's
Is he getting the
problem.
best out of that squad?
Well, why is Mateus Nunes playing right back still, and why has Nico Riley been playing left back when they signed Nouri from Wolves, who they knew couldn't defend? Because if you watched him at Wolves, he couldn't defend. He's good going forward. He's not a very good defender. Guess what Man City needed? Good defenders. They needed, when they won the Champions League, the year they won the Premier League and the Champions League, they gave up a bit of going forward for a bit of solidity. And they needed that for the final against Inter Milan because they didn't play well. But they had a little bit more solidity. They've gone back to the old gung-ho City. We'll play two attackers at full-back and we'll do... They have a giant squad.
Is it good enough?
Well, it might not be good enough because of these positions that I'm talking about, particularly the full-back positions. But you look at the team they had out tonight, going forward in particular, and you look at all the players I talked about on the bench, that's incredible. But if they've not solidified the right-back and the left-back positions, that's on them. Because they've spent enough money, they've brought players in, but they've not brought in the right profile of player. And if that's the case, there's nobody else to blame but Man City.
This season, because of all those players that Craig just mentioned, this was going to be the rebuild. OK, last season we didn't play particularly well, we had all those bad results. This is the season where we're going to rebuild, we're going to change the philosophy slightly. There are all these new players coming in. This is the start of me building another big team. At the moment, I don't quite see it happening. It's a good team, but it's not going to be a great team at the moment.
Yeah. Right. Sorry.
Yeah, but
there's just...
Robert,
if you look at it...
You guys don't think that they...
Go on.
Yeah, what I also think that's happening, at City, is that people starting to understand the tactical side, how they want to play. Because every time when City wants to control the game, and he's like that, he wants to be on the ball. Every time he wants to control the game, he's on the ball. They are standing in a position where they can be exposed. And every time they get exposed like that, soon as they make a mistake, if they lose the ball, it's like what Craig said. Like, let's say the right and the left side, one goes up. You understand? And they get exposed. There are three at the back. If they don't have the defenders that are capable to go into corners and cover them up, they're going to get exposed. And it's always been like that. This is not something new that Pep is fighting with. Because when Pep has the ball and he knows that people have fear in them to compete with them, he has no problem. But the moment when people feel we can beat them and can bring a game to them, that's when
that's the fear factor. I say they've lost the fear factor. And that's the key thing to it. Teams and managers are no longer frightened about Man City. Yes, they know they've got good players. They know Doku can cause problems. They know Haaland's a brilliant striker when he gets 1v1. They know all those things, but they know they can also attack them. They can get in behind them. They can play around them because at the moment they're not that all-round team.
It's like Barcelona in a sense. They'll give you chances. And is there any coincidence that two teams that should be the biggest challenges to Arsenal this year, and OK, you might throw Chelsea in the ring, and that's fair enough. But if we're talking about at the start of the season, the two sides that we're expecting to be in a three-way fight were Liverpool and Man City. And Liverpool have their issues, and there's absolutely no doubt about that for everybody to see. But so does City. And where are the biggest issues for both sides? Fullback. Liverpool, they basically lost the right back, and Andy Robertson can't do it anymore. They've got problems at right back, they've got problems at left back. City have the same. The fullback position is a very, very important position, not only to the attacking phase of the play, but having a unity within that back four. Neither Man City or Liverpool have that. Guess who has? Arsenal. They bought the players to make the changes. whether it's Calafiore or Lewis Skelly or Ben White or Hurrien Timber or whoever it is, they've addressed those positions.
Are you trying to say that the best player on the field should be the right back? That's why Mario played at right back.
Well,
that's what he's going to tell us in a minute.
That's why Trent Alexander-Arnold got the big move.
Robbo, I love you, Robbo. I love you.
It's an important
Love you, Robbo.
position,
You see
Mario,
now?
is it?
That's why listen, that's why I'm back. You see, I want to speak to Robbo. Come on, Robbo. Give me some more love, man. I love it.
Mario liked that
That's
one.
why he gets on shows like this.
Yeah. And Kasper Hjulman will have liked what he saw from Leverkusen tonight, managing to bring their league form into the Champions League.
We forgot to talk about
against
Leverkusen.
Manchester City.
Yeah.
We did, but we'll get another chance at the weekend because
Well,
they
you
will
will.
be in action against Dortmund, 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Bayern also taking on St. Pauli. Says the FIFA disciplinary committee has imposed a 3-match ban on Cristiano Ronaldo following his direct card against Republic of Ireland. The first of the 3 matches was served against Armenia on the 16th of November of 2025. The serving of the 2 remaining matches has been suspended under a 1-year probation period. If Cristiano Ronaldo commits another infringement of a similar nature and gravity during the probationary period, the suspension set out in the disciplinary decision shall be deemed automatically revoked, and the 2 remaining matches must be served immediately at the next official matches of the Portuguese representative team. So basically,
Could you
he
just read
served
that
one.
again?
He served the 1-game suspension, the mandatory 1-game suspension for a red card against Armenia, the next game that Portugal had. However, they've deemed that it should be 3-match ban, but they have suspended those 2 remaining games, which just so happen to be
Now, a FIFA
the World Cup opening games for Portugal.
Yeah.
Go on, Robbo.
Is that a concern for you?
Is it a concern? Are they making rules just to suit the World Cup and him? It looks as though they are, because if they've given him, if they think it's worth 3 games, it should be 3 games. The first 3 games that he's suspended for, and 2 of those would be the World Cup games.
What do you think of
If
it?
Gianni Infantino, who oversees the whole FIFA thing, and he'll say, I left this to the disciplinary committee, nonsense. If he had any shame, which he hasn't, because he'd sell his soul for money, wouldn't he? Let's be honest about it. He's already shown that with the Club World Cup and the extension of the amount of teams at the World Cup. They have made a mockery of their own disciplinary process here. A mockery, a complete sham, right? They've made and what they're saying to referees and officials are like, you know, maybe you shouldn't send off the big stars. Maybe just keep it to the guys under the radar, and we don't have to brush it under the carpet. We don't have to have these problems. We don't want these issues because we want the big stars at these major tournaments. We don't want to discipline them, and you know, it's all about the product. And at the end of the day, when have you ever known a player been sent off for violent conduct? I've never known that happen in a player getting any sort of probationary period. Unless I'm missing something, it's a 3-game ban and that's it. You can't give somebody a 3-game ban and say, I tell you what, you've served the ban, have 2 off, as long as you don't do it again. I mean, it has made a mockery of an organisation that, let's be honest about it, couldn't give a stuff because they're making the rules up for themselves. If that had been any other player, Joe Bloggs playing for the Republic of Ireland, and they're going to be in the playoffs. But say the Republic had qualified automatically and one of their players had been sent off for doing something similar, he'd have got 3 games straight away, and that poor lad would have missed the World Cup, or the first couple of games in the World Cup. But for Cristiano, there's different rules. And if FIFA try and tell you anything different, then they're talking absolute nonsense.
And over when it happened, you understand, at the moment when it happened, I think if he looks back at the situation, he will look at himself too, that he got outsmart, because normally no one will get him like that. And he still got carried away and got himself carried away and then hit, I think it was O'Shea, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting he is one of the best players now. I mean, that's a different debate.
Absolutely.
And it's now a headache for Roberto Martinez.
But we do want to see Cristiano Ronaldo in the World Cup, in Portugal's games, don't we?
Do we?
I don't know, do we?
Well, have you not?
I didn't like watching him play for Juventus when he was playing for Juventus, and that was a few years ago. I thought he messed up their team completely. So we all have different views on Ronaldo.
We've had this debate endlessly. I'm not going to go through it all again about whether he should play or whether Roberto Martinez has a stomach to drop him and whether they're a better side without him. For the 1,000,000th time, I'm going to say the last 2 major tournaments that he has played, he has struggled. Fernando Santos benched him, and then he struggled in the last tournament, and I can't remember what Roberto Martinez did, but it wasn't very strong. So there is an argument anyway to say whether he should start for Portugal or not. But I want to see as many big stars playing at a World Cup as I can, and I think every football fan would want the same. But you cannot have one rule for the superstars and another rule for the rest, which is what FIFA have done here, and it's unacceptable.
The BBC are reporting that the fact it was the first red card in 226 international appearances was taken into account.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it's like going down. It's like going down the street and killing somebody and then saying, "I haven't done it before." It doesn't matter. Once you've committed that offence or that crime or whatever it is, you're punishable by that offence. So I don't know what the BBC are getting their nonsense from. They're a bunch of muppets anyway. You know what I mean? They'd let everybody play a bunch of woke nonsense. They'd let just let everybody play at the World Cup. I mean, at the end of the day, offences are punishable by the actions. And the action here, whether you're a Ronaldo fan or not, is violent conduct. And violent conduct is normally 3 games for players. If people can't accept that, they don't understand the laws of the game. They just don't.
Well, Portugal find themselves
He is going to play the World Cup.
Yes, of course.
He's going to play the World Cup.
Because you know Roberto Martinez
is never going to drop him.
Yeah.
Martinez never going to drop him.
I know that.
So I can tell you that straight away. He will play, and Martinez will not say a word to him. Believe me, the moment when we think that he should drop him, he will look at Martinez, only give him a look, like how you look at your parents and say, "Can I have that candy?" Don't worry, he will give him as much candy
listen,
he
may
wants.
go to the World
Believe
Cup and
me.
score a bunch of goals. That may happen. However, the history will tell you that it didn't happen in the last 2, and I don't care how many goals he scored in Saudi Arabia. Robbo and I could go over there. Well,
No, hang on. I've got a new knee. And your back's out of salt, so yeah.
I don't know where you're saying everybody wants to see Ronaldo at the World. What, are you some fan or something?
No, but you say everybody wants to see the big stars. He's a big star, isn't
Well,
he?
everybody wants to see the best players. Let me phrase it.
I want to see the best players, and if he's not the best player, I'm not saying he's not, but I don't want him just there because he's a superstar.
He's not anymore.
It's the same with Neymar. You know, I didn't like watching Neymar play when I don't think he was contributing, but he was picked every week and he was the big star, but he didn't contribute on most games that I saw.
OK, Portugal will find themselves in pot 1 because the World Cup pots have been announced by FIFA ahead of the draw taking place a week on Friday, December 5th. This is how things are looking in pot 1, where I said Portugal there. Scotland, pot 3, Craig.
Yeah, what pot? pot lock.
We will bring you the World Cup draw special on YouTube.
Does that mean Scotland are going to get a tough draw?
December 5th, probably so, yes. 12:30 Eastern on YouTube, and it's also available for Eastern on ESPN 2. We will find out who will be facing who in the upcoming World Cup. Here's a reaction in the English newspapers on the Idrissa Gana Gueye Michael Keane incident when Gueye was sent off for slapping his own teammate in the first half. David Moyes said he didn't really mind what he saw between his players, but was told that the rules state that even if you slap your own player, it could well be trouble and a red card, which was what we did see.
Well, it's easy to say once you've won the game.
Yeah. If he'd have lost the game, he'd have been going in. He said, "We can't have this. We've lost the game because it went down to 10 men. Stupidity between 2 of our players." And we've all played football. We've had an argument with a teammate, and you usually have an argument with a teammate that you don't particularly get on with. You know, because if it's somebody you really get on with, you might give him a pat on the back. Never mind, next time. But if it's someone that you've had a little bit of, maybe in training, you've had a little bit of a dig at once or twice. That's usually the person you have a dig at. So there might have been an undercurrent of what was going on between those two players.
Are you talking from personal experience,
yes.
Robbo, that you've had a few issues?
No, I haven't. But when I've seen players that have, the couple of players that didn't like each other at Arsenal, there was Kenny Sanson and Alan Sunderland didn't like each other. They'd roll around on the floor having a fight in training. And whenever there was moaning about the ball not being played forward and it wasn't into the right areas, Alan Sunderland would be having a go at Kenny Sanson and Kenny Sanson would be having a go at Alan Sunderland. Whereas if it was Graham Rick, Kenny said, "Oh, unlucky Graham." But not quite the same when it was Alan Sunderland. So when players don't get on, those sort of things can occur. And I would imagine something like that occurred then.
But I didn't get Stevie's take yesterday when he said, "Well, I would be unhappy at Michael Keane because he started it."
Yeah,
but if a player...
no, I'd be too.
But why? But if Idrissa Gana Gueye comes over to you, and I don't understand this.
Great.
If Idrissa Gana Gueye comes over to you and gets in your face, Michael Keane pushed him. He's not the one that slapped his teammate in the face. So what
I agree with that, with the slap. But don't touch me. Why are you touching me? No, don't give me that feeling. If a dude it doesn't matter if you're on my team and you just push me out of the way. No. If you know I'm standing in front of you, that's why it kicked off. Because he touched him and that's why he slapped him. Do I say the slap is good? No. I agree with that. But don't push me. Come on, no, it's going to kick off. Yeah,
No,
I'm going to stand my ground.
I'd be worried for you because
No,
you're in
care.
Stevie's camp here. I mean, you can't. If you come over and you
No,
give your teammate
why
a
are you
little shove,
worried? I've done it.
little shove away. If Robbo comes up to me and he's, profanities, whatever. We don't know what was said, but he's shouting away, and I give him a little shove. That's no excuse to slap somebody in the face. Whether we think it's a hard slap or a soft slap, that doesn't matter.
Let's say it doesn't happen very often. There must be something going on. Remember Newcastle had it years ago, was it?
Yeah.
Kieran
Lee
Dyer.
Dyer and Kieran Dyer,
And that was a bad
With
situation.
the,
And it
Dyer.
ruined the club for a while because that's all Bobby Robson kept on being asked. What's the problem with your club? Is there a bad feeling between these two players? Can't you keep the discipline? It's OK last night, or Monday night, because Everton won. So David Moyes has got away with it. If they'd have lost the game, there'd have been more questions asked. So these players not gone. Is the team spirit bad? All these sort of things would have come up.
You can't exonerate the guy that's committed the offence. You can't, unless there is something that was so egregious that was said, and we don't know that. But you can't exonerate him and blame the other guy for a little shove.
Mario, have you ever experienced anything like this?
No.
No.
I never experienced it because, but I think, look, the situation for me when I looked at it, when I looked at the game, I think that, Robbo mentioned that, I think something else must have happened before because they look very heated prior to whatever happened in the situation, regardless if you make because mistakes happen in the game. But one of the things is, Greg maybe don't agree with it, but I don't agree with someone just grabbing me and it just shove me away. No. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It never happened to me in my career. So that's why I said it, because I would not allow someone just randomly do that to me. No. I don't care what you are.
Listen. The Celtic team that I played in 97, 98 in particular, there's a lot of good players in that team, right? But on the field, oh my God, we were horrible. If somebody was making mistakes, we were horrible to each other. But
You're the same now when somebody makes a mistake in the studio. Nothing's changed.
it was other players I was talking about.
Oh, sorry.
And me. But, we used to just bark at each other. Terrible stuff. Because we're not... But nobody ever come up and slapped somebody in the face or what. No, I'm not having it.
You're not having it?
No.
Everton got the win anyway. Manchester United obviously did not. They finished that game with 0 points, and this is where they find themselves in the Premier League table now. Meanwhile, Ruben Amorim wishes his side would show maybe some of the fight that Everton did.
These 5 weeks, everyone is praising our evolution. I'm always saying the same things. We are not even near what the moment we're supposed to be in this club. I feel afraid of returning of this feeling of last season. That is my biggest concern.
Stuart Robson, you have a few feelings about why Ruben Amorim's saying some of these things at the moment. He's just heard them there, not even in the moment we're supposed to be.
So they've lost the game, which it's bad to lose a game against 10 men and they didn't play with enough guile or whatever and creativity. They've had a good little run, not against the best sides, but they've had a good little run. He's got to see some sort of positive from it. At the moment, he's putting himself back into danger, and almost as if he wants to sort of, if you've been at the club now for nearly, a year and a half, you should be somewhere near where you want to be. By saying we're nowhere near where we want to be, you're having a go at yourself, really. I've had 18 months to turn this club around. We've made lots of signings in the summer. I've tried to get my tactics across. It's the same tactics week in, week out, but that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to get them to play this way.
You have a chance to get fourth. You got to turn up totally different. I think when the way they played it, I think, okay, they sit down, they defend, they wait, but there were moments even in the second half. There was a moment in the second half, Everton kept passing the ball around and then winning the second ball again. I was like, wow, do you want to win the game or you just want to give it up? And then he tries, you understand, every time his teams get stretched, they get a problem. Because he knows that in the middle of the park, if they open up and they stretch the team open, the guys in the middle cannot keep up with whatever is facing them. And he did it again. And that's why I felt like sometimes, Casemiro and Fernandes, because Casemiro wants to, he's more the attacking one of the two. And then Casemiro, the ground that he has to cover is bigger than when he was at the top of his career. So when that happens to him, they look exposed. And I think that was definitely, one of the relevant things that was happening. And then up front, it was difficult because Sirk said the first half, he started running all the way back and defending in the corners. And I was like, no, be the striker. Just focus on scoring goals. And that was one of the key things that we're missing too.
Who are all these? I'm looking around. I'm trying to find who all these people were that were talking about the evolution. Was that what he said? The evolution?
Because he was saying they've been praising them for the last few weeks. Their evolution.
So they won a couple of games. The job.
Yeah.
Burnley,
Liverpool and
Sunderland,
Chelsea.
Liverpool, who everybody can beat. Chelsea, who Sanchez got sent off after 5 minutes at Old Trafford, and Maresca had a panic up and made all these substitutions. It's hardly some sort of evolution revolution, is it? So I don't know where he's getting this evolution from, because they gave a manager of the month because they felt sorry for him. Shouldn't have won manager of the month either. So not quite sure where this evolution is coming from, because you're winning a couple of games against teams that are either really struggling or teams that have just been promoted from the Championship, which has been the case. So, yeah, I think his comments are strange all the way around.
I mean, he should be saying, we had a good few weeks, we played fairly well, we got some good results. Today was a blip, and I wasn't happy with the way we played today, but we've got to make sure on Saturday we get back to what we had been doing in the previous games, because I have seen a slight improvement. But he's not saying that. We're nowhere near where we need to be. We're not showing any fight to be in the top. That's
and we're not fighting.
Talk.
What was it he said? We're not fighting
for the top positions.
Well, we knew that anyway. We knew that anyway. They're not fighting for the top positions. You know why? Because they're a poor side, and they have a poor manager at the moment. Yesterday was 12 months in charge, I think. What are we seeing from them? Any consistency? No. They had that little mini run that he thinks is some sort of evolution, but no. Even Everton camped in the second half, which was a dangerous tactic, but I think a bit of tiredness come in. But even after Everton lost Idrissa Gana Gueye in the first half very early, they still were able, as Mario said, to take the game to Man United with 10 men and look a danger. It was only after half-time that Everton really took that risk of camping in the edge of the box, and Pickford made some great saves. But even with 10 men and that first half at Old Trafford, they were booed off the pitch at half-time because Everton still looked a more dangerous team in possession of the football, and that is unacceptable.
You need to start writing the scripts for Ruben Amorim in these press conferences.
I'll be his PR man.
Yeah,
I don't think I'll get very far.
Could be doing. Dimitar Berbatov spoke about it. Go and check it out over on our YouTube channel, ESPN FC. Yeah, it's been an awful start, Mario. Look at that, 0 points, and then they come up against the only other team with 0 points, and they're beaten again. What's going on?
I know it's a lot happening. I said it already, you understand. The team, it's really difficult. I heard you guys cracking jokes because it's sad. Just to see how things are going. You bring a coach in at the beginning of the season, you get rid of him, then you bring in, you let someone take over. It was my ex-goalkeeper, but he was the second goalkeeper. Played every season, 10 or 8 games a season, and now he's in charge of the team. And the way he was talking about, he said, I am going to change because I'm going to try some players out. When he said that, trying players out in the Champions League, I was like, no. I expecting something really crazy to happen. And look what happens. Benfica ran right over them.
Yeah, so Benfica getting themselves a win. Ajax still in search of their first, and we'll be answering the questions that you guys send in over on Extra Time. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel.
Well, at least the shirt matches the graphics.
Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. We've got Mario with us. Stuart Robson's flown in for the occasion.
Just extra time?
Just extra Thanksgiving with us all, because you're so grateful for your colleagues, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Is that what Thanksgiving's for?
To say thanks.
That was it.
To say thanks for all we have.
Yeah.
What are you thankful for, Craig?
End of this show today.
Let me tell you.
Just wait till Thursday. I'm in on the Europa League. I'm already I'm already brewing up about it.
Really, you should be thanking me for saving you in Alicante.
Oh,
I
knew
thought
this would make
I'm
it
going to have to bring
show.
this up.
Go on then.
Because we had to go downstairs from our gantry position. We had to go downstairs in amongst the fans. We had to go to the toilet, and I thought I'd wait for Kay just in case any trouble stuff. And she fell out the toilet and almost fell on the floor as she came out the room. Broke the heel on her shoe and stumbled along for about 10, 15 yards. It wasn't a pretty sight, I've got to say.
And is it normal for you to sort of hover around the ladies' toilets?
Well, I was protecting her, to be honest.
Backfired that one.
I was protecting her. And I was 20 yards away. It was just this body came out in a white coat.
I thought I'd got away with it.
You thought you'd got away with it?
I got away with it, and then I looked up and there's and he fixed my heel for me.
Yeah.
So
Well, he's a man of many talents.
Yeah.
he certainly is. Okay. Guys, have you ever seen any match ever where the manager deserves the Man of the Match award like Maresca unequivocally does with that performance? Mario?
Don't talk nonsense.
No, I don't. Man of the match? No, I've never seen that. But I mean, it was a great performance of his team, so he picked it. So I mean, as much as we take the credit away from him when he doesn't, I will give him the credit. But no, I have not seen this.
No, a manager does his job, and he can't be man of the match. He can, if he wins the league, he's coached them brilliantly and got the best out of them and all that sort of stuff. He's got his tactics more often right than wrong. But you can't give him man of the match for any one performance.
That's somebody who doesn't watch La Liga and hasn't seen Barcelona defend.
I'll tell you who didn't get man of the match. Grimm for Ajax. He certainly didn't get man of the match, did he?
Who's grim?
Isn't he the manager of Ajax?
Yeah.
Grim performance,
Robert,
grim
did you
name.
even know that
Grim, wasn't
name?
it?
That's
Yeah.
good, though.
I mean, things are looking grim right now for them.
Yeah.
All right, Mario, has Estevao reached Lamine Yamal's level yet?
God, where the hell do we
because,
get these
come on, we cannot
questions?
do
Where do
that.
we get who are these people?
Come on, you cannot compare because you have one kid that clearly showed us for a longer period and one that is starting this season. So why? I mean, not starting this season, but starting this season, let's say in Europe. While he did some great things in Brazil and coming up to this level, and he's doing great. And I think allow the kid to grow even further. But Lamine Yamal has done a lot of game-changing stuff for Barcelona already, so I don't think you can compare them yet.
Yeah, won a lot of titles
hold on a minute,
already.
Hold on a minute. Don't even Mario. Don't even answer questions like that, right? The very fact that that's made it onto air is a shocker. I mean, do we want any seriousness in this part of the show? Or we might as well just scrap it. Scrap it. Scrap the whole damn thing. I'll tell you why. It's Estevao, who's a great player, great young player. I mean, is this the joke segment?
Yeah.
What is this, the funny, the joke segment? Lamine Yamal could arguably won the Ballon d'Or. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about it.
But you are.
How's that even? How's somebody not looked at that and gone, can't we have people with half a brain in their head? Hopefully it's the boss that's not picked this, but it's the point.
Might well be.
Well, the point stands. Can't we have people who have just got a little bit of a brain and go, stupid question, not even making it to air? Because that's straight in at number one.
But we want this animated version of you.
Well, it's only because it's pointless. This part now is pointless.
The VAR
In my
review
ear,
tell us,
the boss did choose the question, apparently.
And my point stands. We need somebody with at least half a brain here.
Let me see if I can keep an eye on you.
Well, that's just stupid, isn't it? I mean, who's even asking questions like that?
Should Arsenal view Chelsea as their
Freaking
biggest
annoying.
threat, or is it Manchester City?
You're looking at me. I don't even know what the question is now. I'm distracted.
Should I?
Chelsea are playing well at the moment. Man City were playing well until the last couple of games. I still think Man City will finish closer to Arsenal than Chelsea will, but Arsenal are going to run away with the title, I think, by
At least that
10
question's
points.
got some validity to it.
Yeah, it's getting better, okay. When we
It
think
can't get any worse than absolute stupidity like that.
When we think of Flick's Highline succeeding at Bayern, we often forget the pace of Davies and Alaba covering for the entire back line. Is that what's missing for Barcelona right now?
Who are you asking the question to, Mario? Because he was
Well, they
quick and a
had,
great defender, so we should ask Mario. See if I've praised him enough over the last.
No, I tell you why. It's the
Flick is
same
high
fullbacks. It's the same fullbacks that had success last year. It's Koundé and Balde. The problem is the loss of, and strangely enough, I think anybody would have been saying this 18 months ago. The loss of Inigo Martinez has been a big blow for them because Kubasi is a very good player, but he's a youngster and he's still raw. And Martinez was the one who had the nous and experience last year to shepherd the back line and make sure it was squeezing as a unit. They don't have that now. Ronald Araujo didn't play last year because Hansi Flick didn't fancy him to do that job. And now he's got very little choice but to throw him in now. So you think about it, they had success to a certain extent, and certainly in Spain, with the same fullbacks. But it's the way the back four is operating.
Baldi's one of the quickest players in La Liga, it has to be said. Your question was, or the question was, is it all about pace in those? If you're running the wrong way, coming upfield and the ball's being played behind, it doesn't matter how quick you are, if you're running the wrong way to start with, you're never going to get back there. And if you're standing square on and the ball's played in between you and it takes you an age to turn, it doesn't matter how quick you are. It's the positions they're taking up and the movement that they're doing, just as the player's about to kick the ball, that is wrong.
Start, bench or drop? Which team should be most disappointed with today's performance, Mario? Barcelona, Newcastle or Manchester City?
Most disappointed. I will say Barcelona. Why would I say Barcelona? Because it's a big club, you know, and it's a big team. So they should not be happy the way they lost against Chelsea. No, it's impossible because they're too big for that. And then, after that, well, I will say number one, number two, City, then Newcastle. Because Newcastle, I think, of course, they want to win in Europe, but I don't think the expectation for them is not yet at the level where they say to themselves, we are going in this competition and we have to win. This is more like trying to build the momentum and making sure that Newcastle is becoming a club that is normal to be part of the Champions League. That's, I think, what they want to. That's how I look at it. And City, that's another disappointing team because they should have done better. So if I look at the side, I think start Barcelona, bench City, and then Newcastle.
Okay, we're going to end it there. We don't want to run the risk of annoying you with any more questions tonight.
I thought we got through
Come
the
on,
show
Craig,
without him being too grumpy.
Craig, come on.
I thought we hadn't been too grumpy.
You're a great influence on him. It's the Robbo effect. He's happy to have you next to him.
Well, I don't think that's the case. You should see what he says about me when I'm not here.
Craig, come on, what happened, man?
I'll stab you in the front. Not the back. It's the utter stupidity of some of the ones we let on.
Oh, just warming him up for Thursday. I'm glad it's not me. See him then.
Got tomorrow to deal with first.